Backlog.
Welcome back to 321 Backlog, the podcast where two garlic aficionados are on a mission to count down their video game backlogs. My name is Alec, and I am joined by James. Good
I
evening.
want to say good evening. The garlic looks like a, dare I say, scrotum?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I think
It's a ball sack for those of you that are not medical.
I think my favorite ability, weapon, whatever.
Uh-oh. We can't get into that right now.
All right, fine.
Back up.
Hello, everyone. We're back. We're talking about a specific game today. We've been doing a couple back to back where it's we did the top 30 games on Xbox 360. We did villains. We had a couple other. Well, I guess we didn't do as many as I thought. We had some guests around, but
Yeah.
we're back to just the two of us, and we're talking about a single game today. We are talking about Vampire Survivors.
Oh, yeah.
So pretty fun. It is probably the first game like this that I've actually ever played that comes to mind. It's like a bullet hell, roguelite type game. Go as far as you can, die, do it again, and that's it.
Yeah. It's came out in 2022 October. What a good time for it to come out.
Came out on my
Punkle.
birthday. On my birthday, it came out.
Wow. That's insane. That's incredible. Happy birthday.
Thanks, man.
You mow down thousands of night creatures and survive until dawn. Vampire Survivors is a gothic horror casual game with roguelite elements. Overwhelmingly positive on Steam. You look at like recent reviews, overwhelmingly positive. All reviews total 220,000, overwhelmingly positive. Everybody likes this game. You have no history with this type of game, right?
Not that I could think of. I mean, none that are like jumping out at me. I can't. This didn't remind me of anything that I had played previously.
Have you ever played a game in any form? Like it's kind of reminds me of like Gradius or those type of games. Star Soldier was one I had as a kid.
No,
just where you're like in a ship or a spaceship and you move left or right and a little bit up and down. But there's a bunch of things coming on the screen. They shoot at you, and you have to almost yeah.
I got you. Like the old.
I think that's kind of the precursor. Yeah,
right.
Yep.
I mean,
the precursor.
Same idea in the sense of going as far as you can and then repeating once you die or whatever. I did a lot of tower defense games, like the balloons game with the little monkeys and balloons. I played a lot of those. That would probably be. I guess that's the roguelite type portion of it, correct? Because I'm really bad with some of these terms, like roguelite.
I think the roguelite games, I think they're like, it's a very hard game. You're going to die. But when you die, you get like something that is useful sometimes. Like in this game, you can get power-ups with gold.
Right.
That make the game a little bit more capable of progressing later on.
Gotcha.
So I think that's what that is. Like it's expected that you die, but then there's like a sense of progression underneath of progression.
Right.
I think.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really care.
So where are the vampires? Because
I don't know, man.
I mean,
yeah, sure. Some of them are.
Are they though? I mean, there's bats.
There's bats. You're also some of the names are suspicious.
True. I actually have it up in front of me. Let's see. What's the most vampiric name that you are thinking of? Mortaccio.
Oh, that sounds vampiric.
He's just a skeleton.
Well, I don't think you're necessarily the vampires, but I don't know. There's like
I can play as Santa. I didn't get that far.
There are some really off the charts characters in this game, dude. Poe.
How many did you have unlocked?
Quite a few. I don't know. I don't have a count of it off the top of my head, but I got quite a few of the characters.
'Cause I have
I've
five.
played this a fair amount.
I
You have
mean,
five?
I have
Oh.
five.
So there's some pretty cool ones. That's what I was enjoying the most about the game was unlocking different characters because some of the characters come with new weapons.
Hmm.
The Giovanna is like a witch and she has a cat and the cats like damage
Oh,
anything they touch, even you.
oh, interesting.
And then if two cats touch, they get into a fight and it creates like a big area of damage that does a lot of damage to enemies.
Oh
And
shit.
she's very, very fast, like super, super quick because she's flying around on a broom. Basically, just to paint a little picture of how this game works, you're a very like pixelated small character. They come with a weapon or an ability. The game fires off the weapon or ability for you. You level up by killing things, and as you level up, you unlock either upgrades for that weapon or new weapons or new armor type things. And the whole point of it is to try to survive for 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Were you ever able to survive for 30 minutes?
I got into the 20s.
Okay.
So I didn't make it all the way to 30 yet.
Okay. So that's the goal. At 30 minutes you die anyway.
Right.
I've survived for 31 minutes.
Oh.
There was like one thing I got that basically froze that an enemy comes and kills you. Like I think it's Death himself or something. That's how I interpreted it.
Uh,
Comes and
Interesting.
kills you, and then you, uh, if you have like a good combination of abilities, you can freeze the guy. Yeah, Mask of Red Death. It's like a Grim Reaper in red. You can freeze him in place and kill him. And oh, there's some pretty cool little. Just looking at this character list, there's one called Missing No, and it's like a glitched out
Oh, nice.
Red Death. But yeah, it's cool. You get like different stuff. You level up. I don't know how to describe it. Just I think you have to. It's. I even tried to find videos to show some of my friends to try to get them into the game, and it's hard to find a game video or like a YouTube short or anything that really shows you what this game is and why it's a fun game. So I think you
Yeah.
just have to experience it, and the game gradually unlocks in front of you, and it just gets better the more you can kind of figure out combinations. If you upgrade two abilities that match, then you can upgrade that weapon to like a legendary version of the weapon. I remember the whip, it gets like just a huge area that it whips, and then
Mhm.
it also steals health. So it has like a heal effect,
Oh,
which is
interesting.
really good.
Yeah, I found that you could go into like a menu or a map pretty
Yeah.
late. So it took me a little bit to really start seeing all the stuff that you were starting to describe. Uh, so I didn't really dive too far into that. Um, I did start finding that you could look at the map and there were like hidden chests and things. So even though
Yep.
I think the maps are fairly, I'm making an assumption here. I don't actually know, but I think they're kind of like procedurally generated, or at least the monsters are. So it's just kind of a blank canvas, and it kind of knows roughly where you're going. But I mean, if you could go like in the up direction forever, there's no like end to, or at least for 30 minutes. There's no like border on a map. Oh, sorry, and I'm also thinking about like the first map, for example. So like the gardeny one, like
Right.
where you're all outside. So that one theoretically you could just go indefinitely. So
They are pretty big. I don't know if they have ends to them. I
I
don't
don't
think
think they
I've ever
do.
looked, but
There are
yeah,
there are some
they're
that have
big.
walls, so you do have to navigate around the terrain a little bit. But the first map you're given, you're like outside. It's kind of like shrubbery and greenery that are around,
Hmm.
maybe some trees. But I mean, I think I went in one direction for 20 minutes. You know, it's pretty endless. So
So with what you're saying, a lot of these levels have a power up or like power ups spread throughout them.
yeah,
One of the strategies that I like to do is to avoid those power ups until I get. You can only get so many power ups through leveling.
right.
So, but you can get those as additional ones if you've already maxed out the number you can get while you're leveling. So that's like kind of a strat, a sick pro tip from your boy Jay.
Gotcha. So So we're talking about characters and power ups and abilities. What was your favorite character? Like, which I guess would be more like defined on their aesthetic or their starting weapon.
So I always had a lot of success with Pasqualina. They have the Rune Tracer one, so that's
Yeah.
just like an ability that it's a little projectile, but it bounces off of stuff. And as you level it up, I think it gets more projectiles and they're faster.
Hmm.
And then you can eventually get them where they explode at the end of their pathway and do like a big
Right.
area damage thing. I
And
always had a lot of success with that guy because they pass through enemies, which is really big because
right,
a lot of
that was
things
what I was gonna
don't.
say. Right,
Yep.
right. So if you line it, and that see, but how they kind of mitigate that is it doesn't have
Set path at all.
a set path. It's kind
Yeah.
of random.
Yep.
Whereas I had a lot of luck with Imelda right next to
Oh yeah.
Pasqualina because it always targeted the nearest enemy, so you could position
Interesting.
yourself to guarantee a hit.
Yeah.
And at those lower levels, it was pretty much a one hit kill.
But I don't
Um,
like that one because the projectiles disappear when they hit something, right?
True, but then as you start going, it will shoot a couple of them at a time.
Yeah.
But I will say I think my longest run was actually on Pasqualina because the first upgrade from leveling was like garlic,
So
and
I don't
that's
like
when I loved
garlic.
garlic. I
I liked
loved
garlic a lot when I started out, but you get so
yeah,
many things that are better, I think.
yeah.
Clarice, the Santa water one, well, I guess holy water. It's an area of effect thing and you just throw it in a random spot, but as you upgrade it, you get a lot more of them
Hmm.
and bigger area of effect, and then the legendary whatever upgrade of it makes them slowly come to you. So it's like
Oh,
garlic
interesting.
on steroids. Like
Right,
it's the whole screen, it's just covered in it. And
right.
that one is really, really, really good. Song of Mana is another one. There's a character that has that. Papia, I think that's how you say it.
Mhm.
Pecorina.
These names are great.
But that one, I like that character because it plays different music. It has like it has its
Oh.
own because it's the Song of Mana. That character specifically plays its own song, which is kind of it's so cute. And the King Bible, dude, like that one's so good. It just
The
spins a
Bible is
Bible
nice.
around your character.
Yeah.
Basically a force field, but it's not always there. It comes and goes, but the upgrade makes it always there, and it has a knockback effect. So
Mhm.
very strong.
Yeah, I'm watching since we've been talking. Uh, I've been watching the Steam store page for Vampire Survivors, and it's just going over video after video after video of really upgraded high level play
Yeah,
on this, and it's astounding to watch. Um, I want to jump back to like mechanics for a
yeah,
second because
yeah. Please.
it's such a small thing we did really gloss over it, but the only mechanic really is movement. It's just joystick or directional pad. You're just moving yourself around trying to dodge your character from the enemies, and all of your weapons are fully automatic. You
They
can't
fire off
actually.
automatically and they aim automatically,
Right, they have their
or
own
don't aim. Yeah.
conditions. Right, except for when you get like like a fire thing. It's like I don't know if you pick up a
Oh
flamethrower
yeah,
or
knife. The
something
knife
trucks.
throws
Right,
in the direction you're walking. Yeah,
right. But then there's one where it's like it's the graphically it's hard to see, but something triggers, and basically you're like spitting flame out, and it's wherever your joystick is pointing.
yeah. You can get that weapon eventually.
Gotcha.
I think there's a
So
character that has it.
other than those two, everything else is fairly random or done automatically.
Yeah,
So you kind of have to play around with your movement with the preset condition of the weapon you're given, and try to like in a roundabout way aim that way or make your weapons do what you want to, just based on where you are physically on the map. It's very simple for a game. I've been playing this mostly as I'm like trying to turn my brain off to go to bed. That's where I've
Now, do
gotten
you
the
find that
most
it keeps you
gameplay.
awake though? Because it's kind of
No,
one of those games.
not really. I what usually gets me is um, I'll get that sensation of like about to drop the Steam Deck or something. And once I come back to, because I've usually nodded off, I'm usually on a screen that's like waiting for you to hit OK after you find a chest or something.
Oh, that's funny.
You know, so the game kind of pauses at certain intervals if you like find an item or something.
So if you max out all of your abilities, you get to pick either gold upgrade or chicken, like that heals you to full health every time that you level. And you can actually make it auto pick one of those for you. If you
Oh
know you're
wow.
only going to want money or chicken, you can make it auto pick. I have fallen asleep at like the 15-minute mark and woken up to a completed game.
That's great.
But that's also one of the things that I want to say that like if we can bring that up, that can be a con for this game. That means that the game can basically play itself at a certain point,
True, true.
which is fine because that's any game where you have the chance of automation, you're successful if you're automating it. But 15 minutes is a very long time for zero input from the player.
Right, and I think that kind of speaks to why there's a 30-minute cap.
Right, but
You
yeah,
know,
if you're winning at 15 minutes, this game also you know if you're gonna win or not pretty early on. Like you have a pretty
right,
good sense of like whether you've gotten the lucky, if you've got Santa water, if your build is gonna work or not, you know pretty quickly.
right, right. I don't know. I like games. We were talking about this briefly before we started recording about you know people we know that have kids and the appeal of some of these games of being able to get in and get out relatively easy. And it is simple, so it can start to feel like it's playing itself, and it can absolutely. But I have yet. I mean, I've put about 6 hours into this game, and I'm nowhere near to the point where I can have it play by itself. You know, so there's still enjoyment
Right.
in things that I'm not. It's not able to be fully automated for me yet. So there is still some enjoyment.
Part of that comes from knowing specifically like what combinations to grab.
Yeah,
I guess I have 24 hours in the game, so I've
right.
played it four
And
times as much.
and this I don't know. This isn't. While I'm playing it, I don't. This is also me a little bit. I'm not great with like min maxing and focusing too heavily on how abilities will stack against each other. It's I don't know in the moment because you do get these randomly. It's like how am I feeling in this play session? How do I think that this weapon might? I don't. I guess it's more of what am I trying to say? Just I don't know. When I started playing this game, I didn't get the sense of like needing to try to optimize my build to enjoy it. I was enjoying it
No,
as is, you know?
yeah, and that's one of the things I will say is good about this game is that there's combinations that I don't even know about yet that work really well together. I'm sure
Right.
of it. There's 82 characters in this game, by the way, so that's
Yeah,
pretty
that's a
pretty
lot.
bonkers. Yeah, but I think at some point you'll start to, if you continue playing it, you will start to see like I tend to do really well with this weapon, so I'm hoping I get it. You'll
Yeah,
start to
yeah.
kind of pick up on that. Like you said, you really like the garlic.
Right.
So yeah, if you see it pop up there, you're probably going to get garlic, and then
Yeah.
eventually you'll know that if you get the heart item that heals you slowly,
Hmm.
one day you'll upgrade both of those, max it out, and then the garlic will steal health, and it'll be like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that is nice.
It's a better version. I already like the
Yeah.
nutsack garlic. Let's make it stronger. So eventually you kind of find those things, and like I don't know every combination in my head. I've
Hmm.
actually forgotten a lot of them, but I know which ones I like and which ones lead to success a lot.
Right.
But that's also when you come in and play these different characters. They all play so differently. So you kind of
So
that's
it
one of the amount of depth of this game is huge.
yeah. And that's also something too is you're every 30-minute session. When that ends and you go into your next one, you're starting over fully from scratch, and you get to start with a whole different character, 80 characters. That's a ton of kind of replayability. You start to see some of the you start to see the same stuff pop up. But when I'm scrolling on this list right here, it has a little icon of what weapon they have, and some of these that
Right.
I'm seeing I have never seen before.
Yeah,
So I
and
know there's
some
a
of them you won't
ton.
unlock the weapon unless you've
Yeah.
unlocked the character. So
So I'm seeing a
there's
ton that I
that.
haven't actually been able to play with yet. So there's a lot left in this game,
Yeah.
with how even with how
Oh
simple it
yeah.
is. So
Not to mention the DLC. There's a lot of that.
right, I did. I started playing this at your suggestion off of your library, and then the first time Steam said, "Hey, James needs his library back," I was so frustrated that I wouldn't be able to
Really?
play. I went and bought Vampire Survivors like immediately.
With all that
The
$5 it costs?
Yeah, which it's so inexpensive, which it's such a great deal for how much enjoyment you can actually get out of this.
Mhm.
And then, which we forgot our little segment we were doing. I think 2 weeks ago during the big Steam sale that we were recording during, I picked up two DLCs for Vampire Survivors that I was messing around with.
Oh, cool.
So
I guess I own at least one of them. Tides of Foscari. Oh, and Legacy of Moonspell. I own both of those.
yeah, mine is, let's see, Adventures, Emergency Meeting, which it's like themed after the Among Us game,
Right. Yeah.
and then Operation Guns. So that one I have not jumped into yet, but it
That's
looks
funny.
like
We
it's
own
all
opposite
guns.
DLCs.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, it's I don't know. I like it. It's every time I look at it, it's super cheap. I mean, it's 4.99
Base price. Yeah.
base price. That's the price. $5, and you're gonna get a ton of a ton of characters to play with, a ton of stuff to do on this game. It's a great game for $5. It's fully worth it to me.
Yeah. You're gonna get a lot if you continue to play it. You're gonna get a lot more time out of it. It's a
Hmm.
nice, especially with again. I am the Steam Deck salesman. If you play it on Steam Deck and you are at a point before 30 minutes are up and you have to stop it, you can just pause it on the Steam Deck and walk
Oh
away
yeah,
and come back later. There's like people I'm looking that have 170 hours into this game,
yeah.
175, 145. So this game has a lot of replayability and it's
Hmm.
just good. Sometimes even with the treasure chest when you get them, if you defeat like a stronger enemy, it'll drop a treasure chest, which is a free upgrade or a free ability. Sometimes you can get like up to 7 upgrades from one treasure chest,
Nice.
which is bonkers. The whole screen gets all crazy.
Right
Just
on,
a lot of stuff. I want to do you I want to tell a short story about this game.
dude.
I
Tell it.
When I recently decided I was going to play this again, this was a game that I looked into cuz we had friends staying over and I was trying to find a game that would be fun for him and I to pass the controller back and forth. Short games, especially if you're not used to playing the game. So he played one, had no idea what the game was like at all, played it. He did pretty well. I played again. He played again. We kind of just traded off for a little while, but my friend has a history of seizures and this game has a seizure warning on it. And I was like, what a
Oh
good friend
no.
I am. I like looked through my list of games and I was like, this is the perfect one for us, buddy. Here you go.
Did he?
I mean,
Did
he
he?
didn't. No, no,
Oh my
but
goodness.
it just, like what a good friend I am. Like, here, let's play this seizure game. And this game is pretty flashy. Like, it's pretty,
It
like,
can be, yeah.
yeah, I've played it in the dark sometimes, and even on like the Steam Deck, it's like Jesus, man.
That's
So
wild.
seizure warning.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Um, that's awesome. Games like this and how you brought that up is such something that I don't think we think about a lot. Is games that you used to be able to that weren't multiplayer, but you still wanted to play quote unquote with your friends, you would
Yeah,
pass the controller. I played, now you play this level and we'll see who can
right.
do better. Shoot, I can't beat that boss, you do it, right? You know, this is a perfect game that you can just pass the controller on and let's see who lasts longer, you know. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of games that I can think of that are, more recent that have that kind of feeling to them. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
have you
Uh,
played it with your family at all? Has family played it?
Um, I think I got the wife to play it for a little bit, just kind of showing her, because I'm always trying to show her games uh, that she can get. I say this so many times with kids, you want to get in and out, all that stuff. And I
Right.
offer to let her play with the Steam Deck all the time because she'll when she's trying to wind down, same thing.
She
She'll get
comes
in
home from
bed.
work and it's laying on her pillow with a heart
Yeah,
note on
yeah,
it.
So I'm always trying to find stuff that I think it just has an easy like entry point where you don't have to really
Right.
think about it because she's so exhausted all the time with what she does with the kids and all that. This is a great one to be like, yeah, you know what? Just I want to have my mind do something else, uh, and just kind of like wind down. And that's what I use it for. That's why I think it's great for that. But she's played a little bit, not a ton, but just a tiny bit.
Every once in a while, I get up for work a little earlier than I need to, and there's like that time you have to kill between, starting your drive and like finishing eating or whatever.
Right.
This is a like one of those games that kind of fits that bill pretty good because you can, even if you know you're going to survive the full 30 minutes, like you can kind of gauge it. Like, I've got 15 minutes, can play this for a little while, and pick it back up later.
Yeah. Oh man.
It was a well
Well,
structured sentence, wasn't it?
no, it's great, man. It's a little backwards, but do you want to do our any backlog builders and shit we were playing, or do you want to just skip
Yeah,
that?
dude. Yeah, no, we can talk about it because there are some extra ones I think
I
that are
I
on there now.
I completely forgot about it.
That's okay.
For those that have been listening for a bit, we started doing a little like two little segments that we would do before we got into the game discussion that we forgot to do. Backlog builders, if we've purchased
I didn't
anything
forget.
since
I
the
just didn't
last
want to
recording.
interrupt you.
All right. And what we've been playing recently since our last record. So we'll usually kind of talk about those a little bit and then get into the meat of the episode. But we forgot to do that, or at least I did.
Someone
Um,
did.
since I forgot and I just threw this whole thing out of whack, why don't you go first? Have you been building up your backlog at all since our
So
last?
I don't know. Did we talk about this before? Middle Earth Shadow of War?
Yes, we did talk
The
about
last. Okay. And then I think after we talked about it, I bought Chain Together.
that. I also bought Shane together, I
Yeah,
believe.
I think you bought it, and then I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you got it. I got to jump. I have to get
Yeah.
in on that." Yeah.
Yep.
So I haven't. I don't think I've gotten anything else. I will be acquiring the next game we're gonna play at some point,
Okay.
and that's it. Yeah. What about you, man? You got anything since the Steam sale? Probably not.
Yeah, I
What?
did. I don't know why. So they were all on sale, of course. Um, I got a game called I hope I don't butcher this. It's Raji, an ancient epic. Raji, an ancient epic. It looked interesting and it was $6. So I was curious and it looked a little actiony, fantasy based on different cultures and stuff. So I liked what I saw. I was curious. I'm gonna toss the $6 on and we'll see if anything comes of it. And I noticed that the Uncharted collection was on sale, and I've been
That's a
wanting
big
to.
purchase.
Yeah, it was $20, so it was so I went ahead and grabbed that so I can have it at my fingertips.
What games
And
are in that? Do you remember?
that's a great question, sir. Oh, and then also, as we started recording this episode, I literally purchased Enter the Gungeon. literally 30 minutes ago.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Let's
So it
see.
looks like Uncharted is Uncharted 4 and the Lost Legacy, which I don't know what that
Yeah, the
is.
Legacy of Thieves collection. So A Thief's End and the Lost Legacy is
Lost Legacy is it's a standalone game.
nice, nice. Where's
So
that?
we have to find a way to get the first three Uncharted games then.
Oh, it wasn't the first one? Yeah, see that's me not paying attention. Um, but it was so inexpensive, I was went and grabbed it. I feel like I started playing the first Uncharted years ago
Yeah.
and then just
So
never
there's a
finished.
PS4 game, the Uncharted collection, Nathan Drake collection. That
Okay,
was not be the way to acquire those.
gotcha.
Drake's Fortune Among Thieves and Drake's Deception.
Okay. Anyhow, so yeah, that's what I got. It was an impulse purchase. I saw what it was on sale for, and I was like, you know what? Let me just grab it. It's been on my list, and now that it's in the library, I'll keep seeing it, and I'll finally pull the trigger on it and play it.
Have you played any? So have you, off of that,
I
have you played any games lately that are not related
so
directly to the
um, I tried playing more of Quantum Break, which I talked about a while ago. Um, and that's a hard one to get into. I was trying to play it with the wife. Like we'll usually pick a game, like God of War was one of them, where I was playing it, but she wanted to watch and kind of like watch through the story. We were going to try Quantum Break. It has the game component, but then it also has junctions, which are like like short form movie TV episodes,
right?
like fully live action. And those characters also do the mocap for the game. So you're getting two forms of content, a game and then a show. And it's an awesome idea. However, it's got really good actors like Lance Reddick and the guy that played Littlefinger in with, sorry guys, like B-rate mocap actors that
Yeah,
aren't used to doing live action stuff. So in my opinion, so the junctions they're called are painful to watch, but
your
it's an
description
interesting
of it
idea.
sounds like it reminds me of like someone trying to justify their purchase. You're like, listen, you've heard about movies and TV shows, and listen, I know you like video games. I've seen you play one. Picture this, dude. We're gonna combine them both. You're going to love it.
Well, they put on the cover, they put Littlefinger and Lance Reddick, awesome actors. So they put those. So you're thinking this is going to be great, and then it starts to fall apart. So the gameplay's decent, has some shooter parts to it, a little bit of sci-fi, and I think it ended up being changed last minute or something changed with it, but it was supposed to be, I believe, in the Alan Wake universe. So when I got it, I was thinking that would be a good shoe in because we're gonna have to start soon thinking about what we want to do for like our
Spooky season.
spooky season. So do we want to
Yeah.
like jump into Alan Wake? And I was thinking about that connection later on. So but I'm still slowly getting through it. Other than that, I've been playing some games that are a little bit outside of your uh type of
Jurisdiction.
game. I jumped back into Timberborn for a couple days. It's
Saw
like
that on
a
there.
base builder type of thing.
It's a beaver
Um,
management simulator.
yeah, Beaver Management Sim. I did jump on to Dave the Diver, caught a couple of fish. I really just jumped around between a lot of games for a short amount of time. So I didn't nothing story driven. I didn't dive into anything. Even the Quantum Break, when I jumped back into that, it was for maybe 20 minutes. Like it
Right.
wasn't very long at all. So it's we're prepping for a move soon. We're going to be moving. So all my free time has really been trying to like run around and do some of the admin work that comes with like changing your address or purging shit that we're not taking with us, trying to just all that shit. So it's been very hectic here. So I've been just doing things I don't have to think about or things that I can jump into really fast and get out really fast, like
Yeah.
Vampire Survivors. What about you? I've been talking for too long. What have you been playing?
Not a ton, man. I feel like I've been getting home from work and not really being into gaming too much. I've been doing the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think that's what
Hmm.
it is, the sequel.
Yeah.
This is part two. Been kind of messing with that, but then like randomly that game's like higher in action and has a lot of cutscenes in it. And sometimes I just don't feel like doing that, so I'll like
Right.
just load up like a PS1 RPG, like just whatever turn-based RPG. I feel like Chrono Trigger has been no, Chrono Cross has
Mm,
been kind of on that list a little bit, and then Suikoden 2 occasionally,
okay.
but really just kind of like you said, just spread out. My focus has not really been on anything. So yeah, I don't know. It's just been kind of
We
all over the place.
I haven't seen anybody on the Discord in a minute. We were all going
Oh,
hard on
yeah.
some good old World of Warcraft, and all of a sudden everybody had shit to do.
So I don't know if our friend Jason's been on there at all. I
I
honestly
haven't seen
don't know.
anybody.
Nobody's. Have you seen him? Have you checked the Blizzard launcher to
I
see?
I, I looked on Blizzard because it auto launches when I get on the computer. Um and I haven't seen I maybe once or twice, like right as we all stopped getting on.
Yeah.
But not in a while.
So him and I played Heroes a little bit. I guess
Hmm.
I could have mentioned that, but yeah, played a little bit of that the other night, just because we were kind of just wanting to something where you could jump in, and
Yeah,
it was fun. We were like 50% win rate or something
nice.
classic like that.
I jumped in for a hero session. It's hard to remember them all because like you said, just I wanted to jump in, jump out. So I probably since our last recording, I probably played like 10, 15 different games, but for
Yeah.
unbelievably short amounts of time.
Same. I feel
Amounts
like it's like
of
every
time.
night I'm like, oh, what do I want to visually see before
Yeah.
as I fall asleep?
Yeah.
And that's what I pick.
I honestly the last probably week has been the least amount I've played because of the moving stuff. And I for those who move around, it's a big fluctuation of needing to spend money very quickly to get things ready for whatever you might need. And I started getting a little panicked, like you do. I'm fine. I got everything I need, but I see what you're doing. Um, but I started like diving back into like 3D modeling to like post more like files and stuff. So I've been 3D modeling and watching fucking Kill Tony like every night for the last week and a half. That's what I've been doing, just watching like stand up and various shows that I have on rotation, trying to get my tolerances right for a 3D model for a, little removable hook. Anyway, back to video games. Um, Man, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I see you
I've been
logging in something.
finding. Oh, I just was checking to see when the last time anyone had played was. That's all.
Oh,
I was just like looking to see the last like game played. Yeah, I've noticed like lately, unless it's directly related to the podcast, I've been kind of phasing games out temporarily for a little while. I've also been spending a lot more time like it's summertime, it's hot.
yeah,
So I've been doing a lot more like outdoor stuff lately. So that's been kind of I come home and I'm just like obliterated from that and I just go to bed pretty quickly.
yeah,
So
man. Well, hey, why don't we tie a knot on this one? We went on a bit of a tangent in a weird order for our
all right guys.
typical episode. Sorry about that. But before we jump all the way off, why don't we go ahead and announce our next game that we're going to be talking about for our next episode? Hey, everybody. editing, Alec, jumping in real quick. There's been a change of which game we're going to be covering next since we had recorded that outro. So I'm going to hop in here real quick. Our next game for next episode is going to be a look back at James and I's time with World of Warcraft. We have a new expansion that's coming out, and we wanted to go ahead and talk about that in preparation for it. So by the time it releases, the new expansion, The War Within, will have already released. But when we're talking about it is just a few days away for us. So hope you enjoy it. Have a good one. And I'll toss it back to James for a final goodbye.
See you later. Bye.